Do you have a date tonight and you want to take her out to the swamp? Maybe, want to go gigging for some frogs, something like that. Something really romantic, because nothing says a romantic date like spearing an amphibian right in the head with a trident that they give, like the Navy SEALs, that's their medal or whatever, and they give them a trident. That's what you do when you go gig frogs. You hit them in the head, or you poke them in the head. Well, let's say you don't want to get blood all over your feet, and you certainly don't want to get all that swamp water in your feet. Well, what other boot are you going to wear? Because I know when I go out on dates, I'm wearing dry shod boots, and I'm married, and she still don't care what I wear out there. So I'm staying warm, I'm staying dry on my feet when I go out on my dates, or if I may have to go, check some water, change over some sprinklers, go ahead and get in the mud, maybe change out a gearbox in the mud, and I want this boot to not only keep me warm and dry, but to protect it. That's why I got the steel-toed. Can you believe they make a steel-toed rubber boot? I can't imagine it. But Dry Shod USA, that's the dryshodusa.com. That's the website you're going to go to. And also, you can find them on Twitter. And their handle is at Dry Shod Footwear. Now, Dry Shod Footwear, you'll better be following me, because you're only following like 9 people right now, and I'm not one of them. And you've got 111 followers, so come on, let's pick it up a little bit. But check them out, dryshodusa.com, and you won't be sorry. If you're going on a date, you won't be embarrassed. Dry Shod, dryshodusa.com.
Sometimes in life, you find yourself on the right side of the line.
This looks like what Roger Moore would look like if he had his feet up in imaginary stirrups while he was laying out on a beach towel.
Brent, that just ain't right. I'm surprised they used toilet paper.
That Dixie cup you're drinking from looks like a shot glass. Did your head get that much bigger? It looks like the Unabomber with a hat on.
Now a member of the Global Ag Network. Well, hello, everybody. This is Casey Kasem coming with your top 40. This week's top broadcast, Michael Jackson. And there's nothing at all strange about this man. We see him having a full and long-living life adored by the entire community. And now, back to the hits. I also played Shaggy on Scooby-Doo. Didn't he play Shaggy? No. Yeah, he played Shaggy.
He played Shaggy.
Yeah, Casey Kasem. He was a delicate flower. Well, guys,
also on Ghostbusters.
Do what?
He also had a little bit on Ghostbusters.
What was he? Was he a ghost?
Just on the TV. You just hear it in the background. No.
Oh, okay. Lana's always got the great behind the scenes. Do you have like a library of behind the scenes shit?
Up in here, Brent.
That's what's
all in my head.
If you would turn the fan.
There's a lot of stuff in my big fat bald head, so.
Landon went from being on a cross to having a halo.
I wouldn't do your blaspheme, so I've earned my halo back here.
There you go. Well, guys, this is the kind of back to normal, back to usual, and I don't know if that's a good thing or not. Dryline Farmer Podcast. We've got Landon back in the saddle, and it's better than him being in the stirrups. Did you finally get that cleared up?
Oh, it's day to day still.
Casey Seymour's also with us from the Moving Iron Podcast from Scottsbluff, Nebraska, home of the cold weather. I don't know. Are y'all famous for anything?
And 3-day temperature changes.
Do y'all have a bluff?
We do. Yeah, named after Scott. Yeah, so it works out well.
Like Scott Tractor?
He doesn't know.
He doesn't know. So is it like just kind of this lone tower out in the middle of the plains or what?
Yeah, it was kind of weird. They named the bluff after, I think his name is Hiram Scott, if I remember right. And he got killed by a bunch of Indians, and that's where they left his body there, and they came back to get him. He was like with some fur trading group or something like that.
And now teenagers drive out there on the weekends to get
pregnant. Oh, look, Scott Bluff. There he is. So it's,
I hope he was like sassy like that wagon driver on Dances with Wolves that gets killed.
God.
I don't know that he was overly sassy, but he
was awesome.
If you were If you were sassy in the 1800s, chances are you didn't live too long. If you were a male and you were sassy, you probably didn't make it much past the saloon.
Yeah, if you could get killed by a splinter, you probably weren't too sassy.
Oh, what do you think that could be? That could be a good Indian name. What do they wear? Loincloth, sassy loincloth or something. Of course, they get named as soon as they don't get a nickname. Do they have nicknames? They should get nicknames as Indians because they have their first names. Like, isn't it like the first thing they see after they like come out of the teepee or something? Isn't that how they named it?
How that works. Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, like Morning Dew or Running Rabbit or whatever, Sassafras or something.
Yeah, it's probably not a lot of Indians back in the 1800s named Mercedes.
Somebody walks out of a teepee nowadays, and they see somebody eating Cheetos. The poor kid's going to be called Orange Fingers.
Yeah, you don't see a lot of porn names after old. I guess Stands with a Fist could probably work.
Yeah,
Yeah.
better than fisting.
That worked well.
Yeah. Well, you can direct all complaints from the Indian Affairs to drylinefarmerpodcast@gmail.com. So, but no, I don't know why we got there, but it was pretty good. So, Casey, tell us how's the quarantine going up there in Corona Land? Do y'all have all kinds of BS numbers, or are people minding their manners, or they just said screw it, we're going back to work because it's worse than the cure?
Casey, do y'all even have anywhere to go?
Not
Bluff.
really. There's not a lot of places to go. Scottsbluff's pretty. I mean, I've been to Hereford once, so that's a little bit like Hereford. You're kind of out there by yourself on a bit of an island, and that's where we're at. But there's a Walmart here, so
nice.
That's good. Now the quarantine things. I mean, it is what it is. Working in farm equipment dealership, it's one of those quote unquote essential businesses. So we've kind of spread ourselves out a little bit. I think we've come back together here of late, but
screwing people is an essential business.
What?
Screwing people is an essential business. I didn't know that.
Just guys that drive case equipment. That's it. Other than that, it's business as normal. But I don't know. It's not been too crazy bad. I mean, washing your hands and what have you. But it's.
So what?
You want my opinion on the coronavirus thing? I think it's a little bit blown out of proportion. I think there's a large population. I mean, now I'm not sitting here saying that you need to take it lightly or anything like that, but I feel like the rebound, getting back to work, and all those kind of things has. I almost feel like some people want this economy to fail so they can do something. I don't know. It's just weird. I can't imagine people are lined up to watch something just crumble and fall like we're seeing right now.
Yeah, I mean, I pretty much agree with everything you said. I mean, it's like, we're up to what's the nationwide number now? It's allegedly 80,000 or something. Now we can't say, well, the flu kills more people than this has, so we can't say that anymore. But really,
that's racist. Makes you racist to do that.
Well, be that as it may. No. I mean,
did y'all see the video of the guys like protesting the gyms being closed, and all these guys are on the sidewalk doing push-ups?
You'll never see me protesting a gym being closed.
It was.
I mean, there's some of that stuff. So some of the gyms, there's a gym across the street from where I work at that opened back up, and they've done some stuff where it's like, the gym you go to, Lane, they did a thing here where you can have 10 people in the weight room part of it, and then there's like another like cardio room type of thing. And
what's cardio?
Yeah, exactly right. It's the thing about it is that there's no barrier between it. So you have 10 people over here, you have 10 people over here, and I just don't get how you regulate that.
It's like the smoking section and the non-smoking section in a porta potty.
Exactly.
Yeah. I think the gym I go to, the most it's ever had at one time is like 3 people.
Yeah.
Like 7 years ago.
Is it even still open?
No, not right now. It will.
Oh, I didn't know if it was permanently closed. Casey, the gym that Landon goes to it's in a mini mall top building. There's 2 businesses.
Yeah, there's 2 businesses.
One is Snap Fitness and one Little Caesars.
Yes.
Oh, nice. Get a nice pizza after your workout.
I
And I
guarantee.
always go to both.
Do what?
And I always go to both.
That's nice. Yeah, that is a great. I love the entrapment there that they put there. So yeah, Casey, what's the most? And I'll ask you this too later. What's the most extreme measure that you have done? Have you worn a mask? Have you walked around in Saran wrap or what?
None of that.
So
No, the most extreme thing that I've done is I drank one extra glass of vodka on Friday, so that I made sure that it was there. Boom, it's gone now. You know?
That's the Ukrainian I know.
Yeah,
you want to finish. You want to finish the bottle off.
that's right. I mean, that's had a little half a cup left.
Right.
I tell you what, that vodka, man, that is some sneaky shit. Because I mean, Tito's, especially Goose, even though I don't know why you think you're better than Goose, because you drink that Skull or whatever it is.
No, I drink Tito's.
Oh, okay. Well, all right. Anyway, but that stuff is freaking sneaky as all hell, man, because, I mean, I've had one Moscow Mule, and I guess I just kept pouring. Maybe that was the problem.
I bet you have, Brent. I bet you have.
Yeah, you can take that. You see a Moscow Mule, too, and you kick its ass. But yeah, it's sneaky. I had one, and I was pretty much lights out. Landon, what about you? You've been wearing a mask around? I hadn't seen you around town. Hell no, you're staying at home with the mannequins.
The only time I wore a mask was about 3 or 4 weeks ago. They had a blood drive here, and I wanted to go, do my part. And so I asked Kimmy if we had a mask, and the only mask we have is this painter's mask. We repainted our house, and it's like hard. I look like Darth Vader going in there, sitting there giving blood with a big painter's mask.
Nice.
But pretty much everybody in there was wearing one.
My kids had to go get haircuts the other day, and they had to wear masks to get their haircut.
So we had church.
I would wear a mask if I could just have hair.
That's one thing. If I would hire Landon for anything, it would be my chef, because I know there's not any hair getting in my food.
Yeah, it'd be something getting in there.
Ugh. But no, we had do what?
Nothing. Go ahead.
We had church in person for the first time since this whole thing started, and everybody had masks. Of course, there was only about 40 people. Well, no, there's probably about 30 people there, and so we had communion. We did communion for the month, and me and my wife were one of the servers, and and if everybody didn't hear from last week, we had our pastor Kevin Bushart, and he was on here. We talked.
Now, what y'all do at church? Did y'all just play the podcast at church?
Yeah,
for your sermon?
we did. He didn't even show up. I just put my phone up next to the microphone, and I bleeped out ass, but didn't bleep out hole when we were talking about assholes. So,
well, that'll get us some downloads.
But so anyway, so we had the wafers this time. I think they try to do. Usually we have bread. We had wafers this time. Then of course the little shot glasses of grape juice. But since we're Methodists. But so we had we put on gloves or whatever, and so everybody comes up to the altar or whatever, and I hand one, and I'm like, I can't if there's any way to make this legitimate, I can't let this glove touch any part of anybody's hand, otherwise it pretty much blows the whole thing up, because I mean you've pretty much cross-contaminated everybody's sacrament there. So I don't know. The gloves, the masks, a lot of ladies from the church made a bunch of masks, like cloth masks, and they're really neat. So they had them all out in the front. We picked one up and put one on, and I put on two just for the hell of it. But I felt like Hawkeye and MASH. But nonetheless, so we had that, and I don't know, there was about probably, as far as, at-risk people there that probably, that were kind of aged. About 3 or 4 of them showed up, and they just said, "Nah, they're not gonna tell us what to do." So these people came, and hopefully, I don't think they caught anything. So, but as far as, I don't wear a mask around town or anything, and go to G-Bo's, and none of them are wearing masks or whatever. And anyway, it's I don't know. I think people are using common sense, but for the most part. But so I was talking earlier with some people, and they, we were saying, you're damned if you do, damned if you don't on this deal. You got people protesting the opening, people protesting the people that are protesting the opening, and everybody's pissed off and nobody's happy. I just saw California, they canceled all in-person, the Cal State college system for all fall of 2020. So it's USC, they're not going to have football, or they're not going to have anything like that. Is the Pac-12 pretty much shut down? I mean,
USC hadn't had football in a few years, so
Yeah.
I think they'll be okay.
that's
I
true.
really believe if they cancel college football, that about 50% of the universities are going to go bankrupt.
Yeah. Well, except the
They're
Ivy
going to
League.
save a shit ton of money if they cancel football. That's where all their spending goes.
Yeah, well, that's where all their income comes from.
Income comes from all that.
Yeah, but like I know in the Ivy League, granted they're not football things, but they have like Harvard probably has the most. They've got like a $13 billion endowment. They can afford to give free tuition to their students for like I don't know how many years. There's as far as California, no telling how much Stanford has. They've got probably 5 or 6 bills in the box. So a lot of those places are. Of course, California, that's a completely whole other subject.
Well, the cool thing about these Ivy League schools is that you can go to somebody now that went to Harvard and say, "Oh, you got your degree online too, just like I did."
That's right. You got the Phoenix online and the Harvard online guy.
Yes, got yours online too. That's cool.
But mine cost 80% less.
The old Cornell online. Andy Bernard. Old Andy Bernard, pretty proud of that.
So I was listening to that Office podcast today. So I kind of started looking through a lot of the actors or whatever. Like freaking Mindy Kaling, who played Kelly. Ellie Kemper, that played, what's her name? She was the receptionist. And BJ Novak. They all freaking went to freaking Ivy League schools. Like BJ Novak went to Harvard. Ellie Kemper went to Princeton. Mindy Kaling went to Dartmouth. I mean,
Ellie Kemper's granddad is like a famous director or actor or something.
Yeah.
And her sister does something. I heard that
I'm sure she does something.
Yeah. I heard that Ryan and Jim played basketball in high school together.
Yeah, they were high school. I think they were high school friends. Yeah, up there in Massachusetts somewhere, I believe. So, but it's pretty amazing how a lot of those. Which I mean, I wonder how they got in there. Of course, and then Jenna Fisher went to Truman State in Missouri. So I'm pretty sure her cans got her that job.
And yet Ryan still tried to get Jim fired.
I know, what a douche, especially when he bleached that hair. I tell you what, man. So what are we talking about today?
Murder Hornets.
Oh, okay, yeah. So we're 17 minutes into this bitch, and we hadn't even talked about. Before we go any further, we're gonna get our platforms out there. Casey, I'll go ahead and let you start yours. What's your whole thing, and where can you find it? And I bet it's the same place you can find mine.
Right on. Moving Iron Podcast. Hit me up on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Also check me out at movingironllc.com. Global Ag Network, where Brent and everybody else that's on the Global Ag Network's at. So. But yeah, we're if you like to talk about equipment and the economics behind all that, check out the Moving Iron Podcast. That's your jam.
So, how is Moving Iron now? Is it pretty? I imagine it's got to be pretty tough.
Is Iron moving?
Iron is not moving like it was. I feel like COVID-19 also infected most of the equipment business, but for the most part, things are good. I mean, it's not as bad as it should be, considering what we've got.
Yeah.
Well, it gets on those flat surfaces. So,
Did you get Casey? Did you get your $1,200 stimulus check?
I did, yeah. Remodeled my bathroom with it. It's great. Things are just awesome.
Get Landon?
thought about getting a wig, but the wife
It's
wanted
a
to
hair
put it in a college. The wife wanted to go with a college fund.
Oh,
so
God, how boring is she?
I know.
Jeez, you should have gotten a hair
Brent-
system, man.
You see my kid; she's not going to college. I'm just kidding. That's from the
That's for
office.
damn sure. Freaking gnawing on the end of our studio table. She ain't going. You see, what did Michael say that? It's like, you see his kid there?
Yeah,
Not going to
you're
college.
talking about Meredith's kid.
Oh yeah, Meredith.
Yeah.
He's not going to
Like,
college.
you see that kid? Kid ain't going to college.
Oh man, yeah. So you can find us the same place you can find the Moving Iron Podcast, Google Play, iTunes, all that good stuff. And I'm always going to drop it on Twitter at Trader Brent, and Landon will retweet it.
At Casey Kasem 6969. Just kidding. No Twit Landon 44. No Twit Landon 44.
Dude, no kidding. He one of his daughters. I don't know how many daughters he had, but I know one daughter. She was a freaking smoke show. I think she might have been like Maxim or something. It's been obviously years ago, but I don't know what her name was. Not that it really mattered, but I remember he had some pretty good looking.
I'm gonna go with Kasem as the last word.
Miss Kasem, yeah. So you can find us all there in the great places. Also check out Casey. Have you been on the Eat Farm Now website lately?
I have not.
I'm gonna pull
Not
that
for a
up
minute.
right now. Eat Farm. They need an I keep telling them they need an exclamation point. Eatfarmnow.com.
Yeah.
Right now on their homepage is George Monbiot. He talks injustice, land reform, and journalism. And I don't know if a lot of people have heard of Will Evans. I know he was on Shark Farmers podcast several episodes ago, and he's got a big presence on Twitter and everything. So looks like he's interviewing that fella. But so we're gonna talk. I don't know. We're gonna talk some first dance stories, and that might lead into the weirdness of the daddy-daughter dance. It just sounds weird to begin with. And you're going to hear a sponsor. I think it's got something to do with junior high dances and some type of separation device between the rabid boys and the self-conscious girls and their changing bodies. So we've got all that and more and a forecast on the Dryline Farmer Podcast. You were in junior high. You remember this kind of music, don't you? You remember that funny feeling you got, I don't know, down below? I'm talking to you guys because I don't know what you girls were thinking when I was 14 and you were 14. And we had to keep the space for the Holy Spirit because it was always at a church parish hall. Well, parents, you don't have to worry anymore about space, because we've got the space in between your kid and that other kid that you probably don't approve of because they live, well, there's not really any tracks in your town anymore, but on the wrong side of the internet. Well, look no further. Did I say further? Look no further than Plywood Pants. When you hear that music, that low E, that low twerk sound coming on like this, you need to make a overnight purchase for Plywood Pants. This is for all you parents of those teenage boys out there who can't keep it in their pants and they try to make a scene. So we give you the Plywood Pants, the impenetrable. It's stiffer, like, so you get those really stiff starched pants. This is like 10 times that. There's absolutely no chance that your son is going to get any closer than, say, I mean, he can get as close as he wants. She's not going to feel anything because everything is going to be tucked. It's going to be pressed back. And you got Plywood Pants to think about it. To think about it. To think for. Because when you go pick him up at 12:30 at night and you're already pissed off because your lady, mom, she kind of gave you the cold shoulder, and so you're already kind of, you know what your son's going through because, I mean, you went through it. Now you're going through it again, even though you're married. Plywood Pants for the parents of young boys, and the parents of young girls will even thank you more so for it. Plywood Pants. Keep it pressed in, and you can bring them home knowing they're coming home alone and all in one piece. Plywood Pants.
¡Cabrón! ¡Ah! ¡Le moviste hartos en el horno, frijoles! ¡No, man, they all smell like culo! Hey, this is Radar Ricardo de la Serio, bringing your Israel Farmer podcast with an update. Well, cabrón, it's getting in the dogga day. Well, it's not the dogga days on May yet, but hopefully you get some rain. I know you're trying to finish up the algodón or whatever, and it always kind of drives me crazy. Like, I know it drives you crazy, like when you're talking around like Spanish people or whatever, they're like every fifth word is like English. It's like you don't really know if they know Spanish or they just want to let you kind of in on the conversation or whatever. So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I really can't. Even if I did know, I couldn't tell you about them because it's like part of the feature code. Oh, sorry about that, man. I don't know if you could understand that, man. Diego Pinche, he overcooked the beans again, man. It's like all turning over in my stomach. But, hey, Vato, we're doing pretty good. Vato, we're trying to get back on the regular schedule just like you are. And, you know, it's kind of, everything's like all quiet on the southern front, you know, but those are like the western front, but hey, it's gonna be like all kind of like average temperatures or whatever, like 80 degrees for like the next several days. You gotta shine, you gotta beat the chance. I know you got the rain and you like never hear the end of it because nobody else, your friends, they got the rain or whatever, and they're like all pissed off or whatever. They're all chicharrones or like all messed up or whatever. But hey, vato, check out the sponsor this week. It's like some piece of plywood you put in between your teenagers when they go to like their first high school or junior high dance or whatever. That way, like the kid, you know, walking around with like the picha, you know his thing is like all sticking out. He's like he's 15 years old, but what do you expect? So anyway, you put the piece of plywood between the dude and the chick, and like there's no hanky-panky or whatever. And hey, vato, that's all I really get to roll. I'm gonna get back and maybe I can cool down these frijoles before the. Hey, vato, no cocinero frijoles. Yeah, vato, I gotta get going. This is Radar Ricardo de la Serio. Back to you.
All right, everybody. Thanks for that great reveal. There's only two of them, Diego and Ricardo. So, guys, we're going to talk first dances this week. Hopefully, Casey and Landon have some good first dance stories. I'm sure it probably came back in junior high, the good old days of the 7th and 8th grade, or as Casey would say, 7th, 8th, and 8th grade. And so we're going to get into that. And I had written down the Murder Hornet, but that might be some kind of move that Landon tried to perform at the junior high dance. So we'll see what we can find out from him. We've got that coming up now on the Dryline Farmer Podcast. And I wish I had Brian Adams. So Landon, sing Everything I Do It For You, or Meatloaf.
I'd rather sing The Summer of '69.
Yeah, I bet you. So Meatloaf, what wouldn't he do?
Don't let it. That's what I always say.
He said he'll do anything for love, but he won't do that. What won't he do?
He won't
break up with her or what?
No, I think it's more like actually say I love you.
I think it's got something to do with ass play, but I'm not sure.
Ass play?
Yeah.
Elaborate.
Do I need to ass-plain that to you?
Yes, please ass-plain it to me.
I don't think he wanted her putting the strap on.
Yeah.
If I was just guessing.
You don't want to be pegged.
Shut up. I know the music video was like Beauty and the Beast, wasn't it?
Yeah. It's about out of hell.
Okay, I'm bleeping all of this out, so we're going to move on. So, first dances. So, Casey, you graduated 96, so you were first hitting the first dance circuit about circa 90 or so.
Mm-hmm.
What was the
Vanilla Ice?
Huh?
Vanilla Ice. Nice.
What was the soundtrack of 1990, Casey? Do we need to look it up?
Most of the time, I'm kind of flashing back here to the middle school days. A lot of hair band stuff. We had a lot of like Air Rose Has a Thorn and.
What about the I'm Too Sexy song?
That was more like.
Smells Like Teen Spirit.
Yeah, that would have been one that was there.
Cradle of
one.
Cradle of Love, Billy Idol. November Rain, Guns N' Roses. You Can't Touch This, Hammer Time.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Vogue.
Casey, do you have some parachute pants?
I don't know that I had parachute pants.
Of course, now
I did have one of those. They had one of those Michael Jackson like red jackets, though. You know what I'm talking about?
Did you have the?
I think I did have one of those. If I remember right.
Did you have the glove?
No, I didn't go that far.
You didn't have the sequin glove?
Didn't go that far. No.
Did you have Macaulay Culkin in your secret? Did you have your Macaulay Culkin in your super sweet secret suite?
No. Vanessa Williams, that's who it was.
Oh yeah.
Vanessa Williams had a big song out then that was.
Let's see. I'm gonna do.
You weren't sitting at home jamming out to The Man in the Mirror.
1990 slow music. I'm gonna do here.
Vanessa Williams, big hit.
I'm trying to see here. Damn it, boy! You think Google's?
Oh, I saved it.
That I'm Too Sexy song was played pretty nonstop. The I'm Too Sexy song.
Now I'm talking
with that bald dude.
Now I'm talking about dance songs, like slow dance songs they played at the dance. Where would y'all have your dances at, Casey? Would it be at the Catholic?
We had
Parish Hall?
No, we had them at the high school gym.
You didn't have them at the Bluff?
No, I didn't go. I'm not from Nebraska.
Oh, that's right.
Okay, so Living La Vida Loca. Then that was 1999. So that got
Saving the best for last. That's what it was. Save the best for last. That was the jam. That was the slow jam in the summer of like 89 or 90 something. 92. Yeah, that'd been it. So.
Oh no, yeah. Wannabe. You probably danced to Wannabe by the Spice Girls. And
No, Spice Girls were way. Like,
yeah, that was
when I was in
96. That was 96.
Yeah, that
so.
was in high school when I hated Spice Girls.
Okay, now Landon, you and I are about the same. We're about in the same category. So, as we said, of course these songs came out before we were in high school. But as we were saying, Bryan Adams and Everything I Do, that was an ultimate last dance song, along with Meatloaf and let's see what else.
The song I remember most was my freshman year, and it was that damn Aerosmith song that went #1 from Armageddon.
Oh
It was
yeah,
their only one hit.
I don't want to miss a thing.
I
Yeah.
don't-
This says
God, I hated that.
This says 1998.
Yeah.
Oh, Truly, Madly, Deeply, Savage Garden.
Ooh, nice.
That was 1997. You people scoff at these songs, but again, if your company would have been, at least a C cup, y'all wouldn't have cared.
I did care. I made him turn it off. Turn
yeah,
that shit off.
yeah.
I don't like anything over a B. So
Mhm. Yeah, did you follow that strict restriction there,
Yeah.
Case Landon, your whole life?
oh yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, I had some pretty strict rules too. Yeah. No, nothing over an 8.
You want me to put my hand where?
Why would a great deity put a recreational area next to a sewage plant? That's from
It's on his
Maybe it's thing,
what is that?
Forgetting
Heartbreak
Sarah Marshall.
Kid.
Yeah.
Forgetting Sarah
Oh,
Marshall.
that one was okay. Well, that was a great. Why would somebody put a recreational area next to a sewage plant?
And that guy's got him out there on the big giant chessboard.
Oh man! So here's a song. This is not going to turn into it might turn into a song episode, but I've been listening to the song "Zombie," and the guys that remade it, Cranberries, but the guys that remade it, what was it? Bad Wolf, Cranberries. I mean,
I've heard the remake, but I don't know
it's
the singer.
good. So
That
apparently,
lead singer died a couple years ago from the Cranberries.
yeah. So the beginning of
He had
the
aneurysm or something.
the beginning of the video of the remake, it talks about that. It says in 2018 she died. Yeah, it's a great rendition of it. But yeah, she died of some kind of alcohol induced problem. I don't know if it was alcohol poisoning per se, but yeah, that's a hell of a song. And I mean, I've known it for a long time. I just, they don't hardly ever play it. It doesn't seem like.
The best remake is when Andy's singing that on The Office.
Zombie.
He's drinking shots of Jägermeister at the when you're supposed to be working or whatever.
Yeah.
He was the most hated man in The Office when he was singing.
Oh, he was, man. One of the funniest when he was singing was when they were doing that CPR class, and they're doing the Staying Alive, and then Kelly gets up and starts dancing.
Yeah.
You can tell by the way I use my walk, I'm a woman's man.
Starts
Da, da, da.
singing it. Then Kevin's like, "Call it."
That's why I love it. You've only been going for 10 seconds. Call it. Oh yeah, that is a classic episode. So this ought to be an Office podcast as well to be. So, but okay. So Casey, were you the typical kid that hands on both shoulders, and she had? Well, no, they had your hands on your shoulders. You had your hands on the hips, and there was
I just had hands on wherever it was,
hands on
wherever they could go,
where they wouldn't.
wherever. Yeah, depends on how dark it was.
Constant movement.
Did Casey let's see, were you pretty single most of the time, or did you always have some kind of something on the side?
I was pretty much a single fella.
Yeah. I mean, I was the same thing. So I was always pretty disappointed when the dance poster at school wasn't on the wall on Thursdays. I was always a free agent when it came to the dance. Nobody would ever franchise me. It was pretty sad.
I couldn't even get the league minimum.
There's a voice drop right there. League minimum at 8 minutes 50 seconds. No, I was the same way. You know, we had let's see, it was at the Catholic Church. They usually had one. They were good for about 2 or 3 in the fall, and then the Presbyterian Church had 1 or 2 maybe during the fall. And
Knights of Columbus would.
Yeah, and I don't know if I ever went to those. But
You know, I'm thinking about this. When I was a kid growing up, from like to 8th grade, that was a big like birthday party thing.
okay.
Have a dance. They'd be having
Oh,
a birthday
for a
party.
birthday party, yeah. Oh, I went to one of those, 7th grade, yeah.
Yeah, I remember some of those.
We always did the McDonald's birthday parties here. Those things were awesome.
Oh God, I went to one. Even I thought it was gross, and I was 7 years old.
Oh, it was gross, but pretty cool.
It was the first time I ever had a Happy Meal, though. My mom wouldn't buy me a Happy Meal if you begged her to death, man. Shit, you'd have thought those things cost $1 million, man. Meanwhile, these freaking people that are just got back from the food banker in their, brand new freaking Cadillac DeVille, pulling up to McDonald's, getting a Happy Meal for their dog and the 15 kids in the trunk. So she always, I never did get a Happy Meal, and it really affected me later in life. But
That's where- oh, nothing. Go ahead.
yeah. So anyway, it was a pretty good time. It was over at midnight. Of course, we lived out in the country, so I'd have to call, and they'd have to come all the way back into town to pick me up. And most of the time, I had a bud with me, and we'd go hang out, or they'd spend the night or whatever. And so I wouldn't kind of be totally flying solo. But it was always.
Talk about all the things you touched.
Yeah, and the parts of your body that moved involuntarily.
Yeah, where the blood was rushing. Yeah, yeah.
I got so lightheaded, and then I was woozy.
It's just like a bunch of our friends, like, hey man, you should go ask her to dance. Oh, I don't know, man. You should go.
Yeah.
Maybe. You think she wants to? No. Okay. I mean, it's pretty much like that.
Dude, she's gonna have a kid in 2 more months, man. She's gonna put out, yo.
That's how you know.
Yeah, that's usually how you know.
Yeah.
So
It's a good indicator. Solid indicator.
the great awkward days of youth, and it's well in the rearview mirror because I don't need to live that again. So yeah. So do you think like now? So y'all been married. Everybody's been married here. What, Caitlin? You've been married for what? 5-6 years?
It'll be 4 years in November.
Okay, 4 years. So do you think now, Casey, you've been married for what, 30, 35?
No, 18 years.
God almighty, it might as well be 30.
Junior high dances in 1990, and Casey got married in 92.
Yeah. Well, he wanted to make her an honest woman. I mean, shit, dude. So, so I've been married what? I've been married, let's see, 2008. So do the math there, 12 years. So do you think you could pick up your wife in a bar now?
I have way less ambition now, so probably not.
Does your wife listen to this podcast? Because if she doesn't, I'm going to slide into her DMs.
I've told her many times, like if something ever happened to us, I don't know what I would do because I don't think I'd go anywhere.
Your game is less than 0.
Yeah, I mean, and it's also that I don't know that I'm in a big rush to try to like impress someone. You know what I mean?
You've got money now, though. You were broke when you were young.
No, I don't know about all that. There's different kinds of money, I guess, in different kinds of places. But
You can show them your guns.
yeah, show them my guns. No, I've said that to my wife several times. Like, if we had to do this all over again, the odds of us actually getting back together someplace like in another alternate universe type of thing is probably next to none. So there's.
So who do you think she would? Who do you think she would settle down with then? What kind of a guy?
My wife loves English television, right?
Oh,
she
shit.
watches like all of those English shows. You know what I'm talking about? Anything that's got like what's that one Abbey thing, whatever.
Oh, Downton Abbey.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Downton Abbey. That's her favorite jam. You know?
Downtown Abbey.
Abbey. That's a porno, but the other one she watches is the Downton Abbey. But anything like that. So I always give her shit that if we weren't together, she'd be married to some guy that wears khakis to garden in, and does that kind of thing. And they'd meet at some English, theater like club or whatever that she came across or something like that. So it's
Yeah, I don't see you at one of those.
Oh man.
I tried watching the English. My youngest boy is me and him watch The Office together. It's probably not the best parenting thing on the planet.
How old?
He's 8, so it's
Okay.
probably not the best thing for him to be watching, but it's funny and he gets the jokes, so that's even better. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So he was like,
That's
"How come Michael Scott's got a British flag on his desk?" I was like, "Well, the original Office was made in Britain, you know,
Right.
so it's on television." He's like, "We should watch that." And so we're like, "Okay, cool, yeah, we'll watch it." Holy crap! Is the English version of
Raunchier?
The Office way over? It's hilarious, dude.
uh-huh.
Like
Pretty fun.
just riveting laugh. Like everything's just a belly laugh,
Uh-huh.
but it is over the top, like
It's-
out of control.
It's
Just
European, man.
oh man, I'm like, we aren't watching this anymore.
Oh, really?
When I draw the line and I say it's
That's
too
saying something.
much, it's too much.
Because
So
you
I
probably let him watch all of Goodwill Hunting.
guess- no.
I watched that movie in the theater with my parents. They walked out like about halfway through, and even I'm like, how many times can you say that F word, man? I mean,
So-
that's like the
so
first
you-
rated R movie I think I'd ever been to, and I mean, it was F bomb after F bomb.
So your parents didn't like them apples?
They didn't like them apples whatsoever. They didn't like the way he fit. They don't like the way he solved that formula on the chalkboard or nothing.
I just
And-
didn't like math, so
Yeah, jeez. I mean, even I was like, holy crap, that is a lot of F words. And I mean,
So Brent,
yeah.
do you think you'd meet up with your wife if you had to do it all over again, or like the
You
alternate
think-
universe?
In an alternate universe, I think we're all pigs. Oh, I don't know. I think we have too much in common not to. I think we do. We have too much in common not to get back, even in an alternate universe.
To
Whether
be honest with you, when my wife, I don't know where we would have met. To be honest with you, if like we're in this state, like
where's she
He doesn't-
from? Is she from?
he's from the same town. We went to high school
Okay.
together. We're couple sweethearts. But I mean, if we were like going to college or whatever, we would have never crossed paths
Yeah.
in college because I was hey, look, the bar's still open, right? And she was like, hey, look, it's almost dark. We should go home.
Oh.
And it was, we would have never, I don't know how we would have ever crossed paths. I don't know that we ever would have crossed paths
Yeah.
because we were two dynamically different,
Well, that
polar opposites.
a lot of times that works. So far, it's worked for 18 years. So now, Landon, I know y'all met differently, but you go to
Yeah, we-
you go to a bar. Was she a barfly at all?
Oh yeah, I think so. But I think the only way I could pick her up at a bar is if she wanted to leave at 7:30. So,
Ooh, baby,
Yeah.
say that to me
Yeah.
again. You want to get home before the news?
but,
Here's
but
my
no.
number.
No, when we met online, and she was fixing to cancel her membership in like 3 days. So we had
Sweet.
like a 3-day window to meet.
You didn't send her a D pic, did you?
Well, it was my profile picture.
So you kind of did send any picture Landon sends is a dick pic.
What was my profile name? 4-inch Fantasies or something? Like that. You guys are awful.
Oh,
So you met your wife. You met your wife on like a dating app, like a dating site.
Farmers only.
Oh,
No,
right
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Yeah, it was on the internet. It was not Farmers only.
on, right on.
RussianBride.com or something. No, she's
I
not
was-
Russian.
I was on Farmers only for about 5 minutes, and some
Ooh.
lady asked me how big my spread was, and that was it.
How big your oh
Right.
man. So this guy, he's probably, this has been a few years ago, but he's probably in his late 50s or something. And he was on a dating website, and this gal, I think she's from Canyon. And like they said, they talked for, typed or whatever, instant message for a few minutes. And I mean, like within 10, 15 minutes, she sends a picture of her beeve. And I'm just like, even he was like taken aback. It's like, don't you think that's a little forward? So I don't think he ever gave her his phone number, but some of those folks on there. So Landon, what was your experience on there? Were you on there very long?
Yeah, I was on there probably maybe 6 months.
Yeah.
And
Any interesting characters?
oh gosh, it's rough. I mean, it's rough.
I would have to think being in the big city is one thing, but being in a small town on a dating site's probably too little much of a small world, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, you gotta get your zone out there about 300 miles.
Yeah.
Your radius. But no, I went on a few dates from it, and
It was pretty.
most of them weren't fun. But
Yeah.
there's a lot of single moms out there.
Oh,
and
I can
that's-
imagine. Yeah.
No judgment. That's fine.
Yeah.
Things happen. I guess. But
Right.
no, there's girls out there that have like 4 kids and have never been married, and,
Oh,
and
wow.
they'll sit there in their profile and tell you that you have to spoil them. Like, pretty sure you're in no position to want to be spoiled.
No, you've been spoiled.
I think you've been spoiled enough.
You've had 4 kids from 3 different guys. The last thing you should have said was no. Yeah, well, you found a pretty dang number 10 when you found that one. So
found a rose in the weeds.
that's
so
right.
good.
That's right. You found a diamond there. So, but yeah, I don't know. We've all found the ones we need. So, well, the first dances, I think we got more out of the side stories than anything else. So we're gonna quit it there, and we're gonna hit it and quit it. And we're going to get out of here, and hopefully we'll be on a regular schedule. We got all the planting done for the most part. Got maybe 1 or 2 circles of cotton left to plant, maybe some dry land since it rained. And let me tell you something, folks. If you get rain, don't tell anybody else. By God, I didn't tell anybody else, and it still didn't make a shit because they find out because everybody else has the internet and a radar, and they know where you live, and they know where your farm's at, and you don't hear the end of it. And of course, when you're in Nebraska, of course, Casey's not in the wet part of Nebraska. But today I was like, hey, at Burns Seed Inc. said, hey, I guess you're on the wrong side of the line today, aren't you? And so,
I saw that, yeah.
because we had the I'm gonna have to tag him for that. We had the dry line set up today, and I think it was east of Amarillo a good ways, as it was somewhat predicted. But no, we got a pretty good little rain. We got anywhere from 0.4 to an inch over here, so we are more than happy with that. So
if it's one thing a farmer hates, it's when his neighbor gets a rain and he doesn't get one.
Yeah, absolutely. In the Texas Panhandle, anyway. So amazingly enough, it didn't hail, which we were surprised that it didn't. But so no, don't let any of your friends know that you got rain when you live in the southern Great Plains of United States.
Anywhere.
The
southern Great Plains.
Anywhere, yeah, I know. So because God knows the Midwest, they get more than they want. But so with that, we'll leave it there. Casey, Landon, it's great to see y'all again. Hopefully we'll be back on a regular schedule since we've got this planting kind of knocked out and all the cattle processed and out on the grass. So until next time, guys, y'all stay safe out there. And I'm going to go ahead and turn Casey down because I don't want his smart ass ruining my lockout. So you can say anything you want right now, Casey, and I have you turned all the way down. So right here, that's what you need. So until next time, guys, we'll ask you, what side of the line are you on?
North side.
The Dryline Farmer Podcast brought to you by Plywood Pants. We'll press the pants of your boy so there won't be any pressure later. The Dryline Farmer Podcast, all rights reserved, 2020, a member of the Global Ag Network, and a proud owner of Dry Shod Footwear.